Imagine a city surrounded by a ruthless and mighty army, ready to conquer and destroy everything in its path. The city is Jerusalem, the capital of the Kingdom of Judah, and the year is somewhere around the 8th century BCE. The threat? None other than the powerful Assyrian army, led by the fearsome king Sennacherib. The Assyrians, known for their brutality and military prowess, had already laid waste to several strongholds of Judah, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. The people of Jerusalem, under the rule of King Hezekiah, were gripped by fear and desperation. They could almost hear the war drums of the advancing Assyrian army, feel the ground tremble beneath their feet. But amidst this looming threat, King Hezekiah made a crucial decision. Rather than surrendering to despair, he sought divine guidance. Faced with the imminent destruction of his kingdom, Hezekiah turned to the only hope he had left: divine intervention. In his darkest hour, King Hezekiah did not lose faith. With the menacing Assyrian army at his doorstep, the king turned to his only source of hope: divine intervention. He fervently prayed in the temple, laying bare his fears and hopes before his God. His plea was not just for himself, but for his kingdom and his people who were on the brink of devastation. Simultaneously, he sent messengers to the prophet Isaiah, seeking divine guidance. Isaiah, known for his wisdom and connection with the divine, was seen as the link between the earthly kingdom and the heavenly realm. Hezekiah's faith was unshaken. His belief in the power of prayer and divine protection was steadfast. He knew that only divine intervention could save Jerusalem from the imminent threat. This was a king who, instead of relying solely on his military prowess or diplomatic skills, placed his trust in the divine. With unwavering faith, Hezekiah prayed for a miracle, and then something extraordinary happened. God's response to King Hezekiah's pleas was a promise, relayed through the prophet Isaiah. He assured that Jerusalem would not fall into the hands of the Assyrian king. But how would such a promise be fulfilled against the might of the Assyrian army? The answer came in an act of divine intervention so powerful, so awe-inspiring, it has echoed through the centuries. As night fell, an angel of the Lord descended upon the Assyrian camp. A force unseen and unstoppable moved through the ranks of the invaders. By the time the sun rose, 185,000 Assyrian soldiers lay lifeless. The mighty Assyrian king, Sennacherib, awoke to a sight that must have filled him with disbelief and dread. His once formidable army was decimated, not by swords or arrows, but by the invisible hand of divine power. The battlefield was a testament to a force far beyond human comprehension. Faced with such a catastrophic loss, Sennacherib had no choice but to retreat. The invader returned to his land, his dreams of conquest shattered. His reign ended not long after, cut short by the treachery of his own sons. In one night, the seemingly invincible Assyrian army was defeated, not by human hands but by divine intervention. Such is the power of faith, the power of prayer, and the power of divine protection. This is more than just a story of miraculous deliverance. It's a powerful narrative that has woven its way through the tapestry of history, leaving behind lessons that echo through the ages. First and foremost, it underscores the immense power of God. The victory over the Assyrians wasn't achieved by the might of an army or the strategy of a general, but by the hand of God. This story is a stark reminder that regardless of strength or number, nothing can prevail against his power. Secondly, it teaches us the value of faith and prayer. King Hezekiah, faced with a seemingly insurmountable force, turned not to his own devices but to divine intervention. His faith and fervent prayer were answered in a most dramatic fashion, underlining the importance of trust in God, even in the direst of circumstances. The story also speaks volumes about divine protection. It illustrates how God protects and fights for his people, fulfilling his promises of salvation and deliverance. Lastly, it showcases the sovereignty of God over nations. This event demonstrates that God has control over the kingdoms and leaders of the world, using them according to his will to fulfill his purposes. The enduring legacy of this story and its relevance to modern audiences remain as strong as ever. In the face of overwhelming odds, this story reminds us that faith can move mountains, and even turn the tide of a seemingly lost battle.